I wanted to spend time with him. He got mad at me. I didn't know what was going to happen. I could see us being happy, but no, it's too ridiculous. When I found this out, I'm like, wow, okay, he left, so I can go in peace. Bye. Just sucking the life force out of me. No bounds. He has no limits. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Are you serious? Run. Hey everyone, this is End Times Narc Nation. I'm Angela Michelle, and thanks for tuning in. Today, I wanted to talk about the dreaded smear campaign. It has officially started, or maybe I should say I officially found out about it. My narc has really been on the prowl, basically just trying to reach whomever he can and smearing my name as far and as wide as he can. He's doing everything, all of the classic signs, the projection. He's going around telling people that I've been treating him wrong and I was trying to take all of his money away from him, and that was my goal. I've been trying to get a divorce from him since 2016. I went and saw a lawyer about a divorce, which is true, but what he leaves out is that he was telling me in 2016, my husband let me know that I was selfish because I wanted to spend time with him. And he felt like that was the best that he could do, the best that he could give, which was nothing. At the time, we weren't doing anything together. I thought that your husband would be happy that his wife wanted to spend time with him, but not him. He got mad at me for that. So yeah, in 2016, there was a brief period where I went and saw an attorney about what would happen if, our marriage failed. It's not something that I wanted to do. I did it because I didn't know what was going to happen. After this brief period of weird moodiness, everything was happy again. So, he totally changed it around. And for a while, I could see us being happy. At the time, I didn't realize that I was going through the devaluation and idolization mentioned, on other videos. But I had no idea. I just thought that he saw the light, and now he, understood what I was feeling, and he wanted to make things work. But no, it took me a long time to get it that this was just going to be my life, a bunch of ups and downs. Extreme highs and devastating lows was just basically what we experienced for the next 5 years. Biggest thing that's bothering me, he's going around telling his friends, his family members, co-workers, that I was withholding sex from him. That really was a low blow. There were some things that I want to think that he's not capable of, but I feel like the minute I start thinking that way, that's when I open myself up to hurt, when I shouldn't be thinking that he is incapable of doing anything. And I feel like if I think about it in that way, then I'm more prepared. There was a definite reason why I was doing it. So the narcissists, they tell partial truths. They will give you the beginning of the story or the end of it, or somewhere in the middle, or, some portion, but it's never actually the truth. What he leaves out is that the reason I started behaving in this way is because I made it very known to him that I felt that he was cheating, and he did nothing to fix that. Actually, his behavior was worse. We agreed when we first got married that when we were angry with each other, that we would not, leave the house. We would always, if you're angry, you can go to another room, you can go watch television, you can go be by yourself, but we would not leave the house. And that's something that he decided to do that was really bothersome to me. Telling people that I've been manipulating his children during our relationship, which is odd to me, because if someone thinks something like that is going on, it's like, why would you leave them in the full and complete custody and care of your children? It's too ridiculous. I was a good mother for every day. The kids contacted me for everything in their lives. I was the one that the school called when there was an issue. I was the one that he called when there was an issue. It's just so sad. But then in his heartfelt way, as I usually say, he tells people that he wants what's best for me and he didn't want this divorce. And although on some level, I believe that kind of, I think he would have stuck around a little while longer, maybe. But I think that he just wanted me to just go ahead and just be the doormat that he wanted. And when I started to really push back towards the end, he just couldn't take, and he used that. I found out that he has been talking with my mom, even. That's what was so shocking to me. This man goes to my mother and was telling her, and she didn't come and tell me right away, and she wouldn't tell me all of it. And that's the whole thing about the triangulation. If she just tried to help me on her end and help us to kind of work things out, that everything would be okay. So she didn't tell me everything. I'm just starting to find out some of the things he was telling her. I just found out that they had a conversation. He was telling her how he couldn't deal anymore with controlling. And so she gives him some advice that, well, you guys are going through a stressful time. Why don't you guys just not make any decisions about your relationship until he finished school? I didn't know anything about this because my mom just told me about it. When I found this out, I'm like, wow. And then she says, well, yeah, but I don't know what to think now because he graduated in December and like a month later you guys are broken up. Coincidence? I think not. And although technically you can say that I ended it because I said I wanted a divorce, but you drove me to this because you knew my boundaries. It seems like for the last 6 months or so, his intent, like the only thing that made him happy is breaking any boundary that I had. My father being a pastor, it's like it was strange because I wanted to be obedient to the word. And when he left, I was just like, okay, he left, so I can go in peace. Bye. You do whatever. And I was just like, it's no way. I knew that God does not want me in a relationship with a man who is actively trying to abuse me. He is emotionally abusing me and tearing me down and tearing up my spirit and just sucking the life force out of me. My kids watching, my daughters, his daughters, starting to see the dynamics in our relationship changing, as he gets more and more callous and more disrespectful towards me. The things that I told them never to tolerate in a relationship. And now they're starting to see it manifesting itself. And I'm supposed to just continue to give chance after chance. And no, it was just, the whole situation was just, it was wrong and it was bad and it was hurtful. One of the biggest things that I've noticed about this whole this smear campaign, it's kind of helping me. And that might sound kind of weird, but it's helping me in the way that, like I was saying earlier, because I see that he really has no bounds, he has no limits, there is nothing that he will not do. It inspires me to move forward, if that makes sense. Like when I start getting those thoughts of, maybe if I take him back this time, crazy thoughts that go through your head at night, what just fell in my hair, those weird thoughts that come in your mind where a part of you kind of considers taking them back. And when logic and reasoning comes in, I say, I'm thinking like, why are you thinking this crazy thought? Like, the best thing to do is to leave this relationship. But it's like, her name is Little Shaman. She has some excellent videos. The things that what she talks about narcissism, it's right on the money. I mean, she helped me to identify, from my perspective, that I'm dealing with a covert narcissist. I mean, hands down. Everything she said was so spot on dealing with this man. One of the things that really caught my attention is when she talks about the chemicals, like, because you're dealing with the trauma bond. That's what we're experiencing. It's very much a trauma bond that we have to heal from. Our brains have gotten used to the dopamine from the extreme highs of the relationship when everything is so wonderful. I think it's called cortisone or cortisol, the extreme lows in the relationship. And we're basically like waiting for our next fix of dopamine because there are always these ups and downs. Right around the corner, you were having, good times again, so you could deal with it. And I would always take it like it was just a misunderstanding. We were just having a misunderstanding because he is too, like I said so many times, he's too intelligent not to understand. one of the things that I have noticed is that I feel healthier. I started to develop different sicknesses. I was having extreme heart palpitations to the point where there was one time I literally went to the emergency room twice in one day because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I'm 44 years old, and it got to the point I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would think that it was a panic attack. I mean, I couldn't breathe. My chest it felt like it was caving in. I would feel like hot, like, kind of sweating. I would be so afraid, and I would wake him up and I would be like, we got to get to the emergency room. And every time they would hook me up, my heart would be racing, just racing out of control. A lot of times it happened when I was asleep, and they ran all kind of tests on me. I mean, we're talking about stress tests and echocardiograms, KG. I forgot the other thing where they hooked you up to some kind of, it shows your heart in different colors, like the blue and the reds. I can't think of the name, but they did all of these different tests on me, and they were like, your heart is good. It does have strange beat. Your heart is healthy, but they couldn't understand these sudden attacks. The one thing that they noted about my diet is that I was vitamin D deficient, so I'm sure that helped. I had no idea that dealing with a narcissist could affect you in this way, where you're having physical symptoms because you're always in fight or flight mode. You never know what to expect. You're laying by this person that you care about, and you don't know if they're going to wake up in a good mood, in a bad mood. Are they going to want to start a fight? Is there going to be some big misunderstanding about a cup of coffee? I mean, what is my day going to be like? And it was basically dictated by whatever mood this person wanted to have. When I started realizing this is not a coincidence, when that happened, it opened so many doors, and it helped me, because like, okay, so there is something that I can do. I'm not helpless in this situation. And answer that I came up with is that time to go. I mean, once I realized, after I got through all of the fluff, the bad advice, some YouTubers that were saying that the narcissist can be healed, the right counselor, and no. Like I've said before, I do not believe that. These people, from my understanding, they're pathologically damaged. Like I've said on my first video, outside of God miraculously changing these people because they wanted to change, because he doesn't force us to do anything. So with that being said, without that, no, these people cannot be fixed. No, I don't see it. It's something that they want to do. They know they're doing wrong. They know right from wrong. They know good from sin. And with that being said, they just want to punish you because it's easy for them. That's their way to get their self-esteem, and that's really all they know. So that's what they're going to do. It helped me to be stronger. I'm dealing with this smear campaign, because my first reaction would always be, I'm supposed to be telling him off. I'm supposed to be giving him a piece of my mind and going to friends and family members and setting the record all the way straight, because that's always been who I am. I'm open and outspoken person, but in this situation, I know that he would get the glory from that. He would get the power from that, because it would be giving him what he wants. So in the long term, I know that it's going to benefit me by not engaging and trying to clear my name. I have to know that in the end, whoever believes him, they're never my friends. They're not my close or good family members. And ultimately, they're going to make their choice to side with Satan. And hey, if that's what they want to do, I probably didn't need them in my life in the first place. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to continue to find my way to safety, because that's what I'm looking for. I'll talk about this in another video, but he did call me up today, just being sweet and nice as butter peaches. And I don't know what he's trying to do now. It's so odd to me that they just so don't see themselves, because you go and you clear all the money out of the bank account. I mean, every dime. You stop your checks from being automatically put into the account, overdraft our account, and then you're calling me up, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? It's like, are you serious? And I have to just try to quickly end the call and keep it about my son, because, we have a child together. So I have to have a limited non-emotional contact. If it's not about my son, there's no reason for us to talk. He says something crazy to me, or if he's disrespecting me, and he decides to be mean and he's saying irrational, stupid things, I just don't respond to those. I only respond to what is important, our son. And so I'll skip all the other ridiculousness and just go straight to the issue. And then he can choose whether or not, if he wants to continue the conversation, because if he continues with the foolishness, I just go quiet. So I have to deal with limited contact. So if you're in a situation where you don't have kids and you feel like you're at a point where it's time for you to leave, run. Don't have a child with this person. Oh my God. Now, like I've said in another video, he's love bombing our son so hard. I mean, he takes him out to all the finest. The same thing that he did to me, he's doing our son. He spent more time with our son since January of 2020. And I am not kidding. I'm not exaggerating by any means. He's spent more days with our son, which it still haven't been much since January 26th, the night that he left. I think he's spent individual time with our son about 10 times, maybe 12, and just time with them. That's the most he spent time with our son and in our whole relationship one-on-one. And I mean that. That is no exaggeration. It's really just amazing to see. Like I was saying earlier about my my heart palpitations, since he's left, I haven't had one. It feels good not to be walking around, because it had gotten so bad. Like literally, I would get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, or I would, and my heart would start racing. I would stand up and my heart would start racing, and it was terrifying. I remember one time that I went to go pump some gas. I was out in the country taking a drive, and my heart just sporadically just started beating. I thought I was going to literally have a heart attack. I had to call the 911. And when he hooked me up, the paramedic thought that I was AFib, as atrial defibrillation. And he was like, okay, you're an AFib. And he basically explained to me that my heart was quivering. And so I got to the emergency room, and after they kept me there for like 3 days, and the cardiologist came in, and he finally told me, he said, well, you do have a weird beat that's going on in your heart, but you don't have AFib, which I was very relieved to hear. They still couldn't explain the attacks. Well, I have a pretty good idea why I was having the attacks. My ex-narc, I think he was doing it. Yeah. Although this situation is hard, I say this every time, I'm still moving forward. I'm going to stay strong for the greater good of my family. And I'm going to get completely out of this nightmare. And one day I'm going to look back on this situation, and I'm going to enjoy and be happy about the fact that I got out. Because I'm going to be honest, it doesn't feel like joy right now. I'm doing it. I'm going to make it happen for me and my family, and all of you, you can do it too. It's going to be hard. I mean, you housewives out there, it's going to be hard for you single women. It's going to be hard when you're dating someone. It's going to be hard in some form or fashion. Even if it's a family member, a family narc, it's hard to break away from that toxicity, but we can do it because we have to. It's the only way to get your complete sanity back, because I'm starting to get motivated again. He used to fuss at me about, the last 6 months or so, why don't you get a job? And, remember when I first met you, you had your own business. All that stuff is true, because I was a mortgage broker. I didn't have any motivation to do that at the end anyway, because he was sucking my life force out of me. I'm having those thoughts again. I can do this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. I want to become, I want to make this, like I said before, a community, a family, where we all can grow together and learn together. So once again, Angela Michelle, and this is Narc Nation, and I'm signing out. See ya.